Got your bags packed and ready to move to North Carolina? Hold on a minute. Before you make that big leap, there are a few things you should know. Today we're going to discuss the top 10 reasons not to move to North Carolina. Yes, we're flipping the script today. So if you're considering joining the hype to the Tar Heel state, this video is especially for you. Let's get started. Reason number 10, public education struggles. While North Carolina has acclaimed private colleges, the average SAT score for North Carolina high schoolers was over 100 points below the national average in 2021. Teacher pay has ranked near dead last nationally for over a decade. Without competitive teacher salaries to retain high-quality educators, the cycle of inadequacy within the public school system continues. A state-mandated cap on classroom sizes strains resources further. Educational inequality persists among minority student populations. Recent Republican budgets have awarded increases far below what is required to achieve substantive progress. Families seeking quality public education often shell out for private school at great expense. Number 9. Steamy summers. Think summertime highs in the 80s and low 90s with blazing sun. Not in North Carolina. Triple-digit temperatures are the norm most years. The state falls smack inside a humid subtropical climate zone, characterized by oppressive humidity much of the year. Outdoor summer recreation often must occur in the early mornings before intense heat sets in. Sweltering nights also offer little relief. Historically, many homes lacked air conditioning units altogether. While AC adoption has spread, prepare to run units non-stop for months on end with correlating high energy bills. Number 8. Higher tax burden. While marketed as a low-tax destination, the total state and local tax burden as a percentage of state income in North Carolina stands at 8.89%, higher than neighboring states Tennessee, Virginia, and South Carolina. Trending higher in recent years, the state income tax rate now stands at a flat 5.25% over the previous progressive bracket system. Combined with a 7% sales tax that hits everyday purchases along with skyrocketing property tax rates up 15% this year, the tax bite might hit harder than expected. Number 7. Mosquitoes galore. Mosquitoes flourish here thanks to climate, vegetation, and water access. North Carolina boasts over 60 species of the annoying bloodsuckers, often referred to locally as state birds. Mosquito paradise, Eastern equine encephalitis, West Nile virus, malaria. Take your vector-borne illness pick as all pose heightened risk. Mosquitoes congregate near flood-prone lowlands but roam many miles, putting the entire state on notice during peak season. Zika-carrying Aedes aegypti mosquitoes also abound since arriving in 2002. Kidding aside, mosquito precautions are mandatory for new and current residents alike. Number 6. Hurricanes. North Carolina endures tropical storm or hurricane landfalls every 2-3 years on average based on historical tracking data, one of the highest rates among East Coast states. Storm surge regularly floods coastal communities when storms make landfall, while excessive rainfall saturates inland areas. Hurricane Floyd set the mark for the deadliest NC storm in modern history, with 52 fatalities and $6 billion in damage. Climate change likely increases storm frequency and/or severity going forward. Prepare for power outages, property damage, and possible loss of life every handful of years along the Carolina coastline and further inland. Number 5. Rising housing costs. Housing costs continue rising across North Carolina at staggering rates, especially within dynamic metro regions. Raleigh average home prices vaulted over $430,000 at mid-year 2022, compared to just $250,000 5 years prior, representing over 70% appreciation. Similar spikes unfolded in Charlotte, Durham, Asheville, and Wilmington. Inventory sits at all-time lows while newcomers duke it out in bidding wars, sending prices through the roof. Strong job markets underlie growth, but with mortgage rates now doubling as well, housing affordability challenges may have only just begun. Number 4. Job market challenges. Unemployment scrapes all-time lows across North Carolina. but most jobs exist within a handful of metro regions. The Research Triangle Park, Charlotte Financial Center, and healthcare in Winston-Salem, Greensboro. These hubs contain a full 43% of all jobs. Yet fewer opportunities reach distressed counties. Rural Caldwell County's unemployment rate stood at 6.5% pre-pandemic, compared to 4.0% in Mecklenburg County, centered around Charlotte. As blue-collar manufacturing textile jobs waned overseas, finding well-paid work in less populated counties grew ever tougher. Remote work aids accessibility today, but skills gaps persist in terms of matching available talent to open positions statewide. Number 3. Congested roads. The very dynamism powering North Carolina's job growth concentrates cars on inadequate road infrastructure. Mecklenburg County ranked as the 6th most congested region in America this year, based on commute delay. As urban sprawl outpaced planning, suburban metros like Raleigh witness similar fates, with the average driver losing 56 hours a year idling in jammed traffic. Widened interstates and beltways brought short-term relief at best so far, with inbound migration and rising car ownership further congesting matters. No solution but patience may suffice for intolerant commuters. Number 2. Higher crime rates. While remaining one of the safer southern states overall, both property and violent crime rates in North Carolina exceed national averages by a significant margin. Gun violence surges in cities like Durham, Winston-Salem, and Fayetteville year after year. Summertime heat waves likely aggravate tensions. Understaffed police departments prove unable to curtail prolific organized crime rackets branching from larger drug routes, introducing gang violence to once peaceful towns. Gentrification also prices out lower-income residents, squeezing them into informal settlements where they remain vulnerable to predators. Choosing a neighborhood carefully and bolstering security precautions are thus prudent steps. And the number 1 reason: discriminatory laws. North Carolina garnered national outrage when passing the Public Facilities Privacy and Security Act in 2016, containing anti-transgender bathroom restrictions. Portions requiring transgender people to use restrooms according to birth certificates were later repealed under intense backlash. However, LGBT advocates condemn continued barriers to equality regarding healthcare, adoption, housing, and workplace discrimination. Racial oppression also continues through memorials to Confederate soldiers on public land and within unfair justice policies. Outrage surfaced when police fatally shot Andrew Brown Jr. last year. While progressive on some fronts, North Carolina laws still enable prejudice against marginalized groups. And there you have it. 10 reasons why you might want to think twice before moving to North Carolina. Remember, every place has its pros and cons, and what works for one person might not work for another. It's always important to do your research and see what fits best with your lifestyle and needs.